Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Vortex, where lies and falsehoods are trapped and exposed. I'm Michael Voris. Since Pope Benedict died less than a month ago, 4 books, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4 books have appeared, pointing to massive problems in Rome, concentrating on Francis's papacy, but by no means limited to that. One book is from the deceased Cardinal George Pell, another from Cardinal Gerhard Müller, another from Benedict's personal secretary, Archbishop Georg Ganswein, and, of course, the latest bombshell by Pope Benedict himself, published posthumously. It is Benedict's book which bears the most scrutiny and examination because of the breadth of what it covers, namely the vast crisis in the Church, not just the Francis pontificate. This is the angle Church Militant has taken for the last 10 years plus, that despite the acceleration of the crisis that has occurred under Francis, it is beyond naive to pin this on him. This pontificate is the end result, the consequence of decades of corruption in the hierarchy. This is what Benedict's book is about. Benedict, who remember, was the prefect for the Congregation of the Doctrine of the Faith for a quarter of a century under Pope John Paul, outlines multiple evils and failures, including what he calls gay clubs and seminaries, especially seminaries here in the United States. One of those he was pointing to is right here in the Archdiocese of Detroit, St. John's Seminary in Plymouth, where for years seminarians were shown gay porn by the rector, who went on, of course, to become a bishop in Saginaw, Kenneth Untner. The secret, such as it was never that much of a secret among the clergy. Huge numbers of bishops knew all about this. Heck, many of them were participants in all of this. Some of these priests went on to rape altar boys as the bishops covered it all up. U.S. seminaries may have led the way due to collapsing morals in the culture, which are due to collapsing morals in the church, but America was not the only locus of this. 3 years ago, a French author, Frédéric Martel, published his own bombshell book, In the Closet of the Vatican, where he outed various members of the Curia. His tome caused an international stir as the Vatican multiple prelates pushed back, denying and then sort of denying the charges in the book. Church Militant, of course, was leading the charge in reporting all of this more than a decade ago, as was roundly lambasted for it by the hierarchy. All the while, they knew, and they still know, that what we have been reporting for close to 15 years is true. When virtually no other media outlet in the Catholic world had either the journalistic experience to dig and ask the right uncomfortable questions, or had not the desire so as to not upset that brood of vipers commonly called the hierarchy, we did. We did multiple Vortex episodes from Rome, going back to 2010 and 2011, pointing out all of this filth. People age a bit, I guess, there. We were mocked and ridiculed and called all kinds of names, but the truth is the truth, and we stuck to what we knew. Little by little, the secular media caught up, and literally dozens of articles started showing up, like this extremely lengthy one from Vanity Fair back in 2013. We beat them by 3 years. And still, the Catholic media world ignored it all, even covering for the bishops 10 years after the fact came out about the root cause of the clerical sex abuse crisis. They even still lie to you about that. Again, despising Church Militant and lying about us every step of the way. When the dam broke with the McCarrick news in 2018, all bets were off. What had been hidden, covered up, and lied about for decades was now completely exposed. Yet still, the bishops continued with their lies and their deflections, with deflections now becoming the order of the day. The professional Catholics, as Pope Benedict referred to them, did as much damage control as they could. For the most part, they stopped denying what was now out in the open for all to see and hear. They simply looked the other way, put up smoke screens, created diversions. They played the legal system like a fiddle and paid out billions billions of your money from their Catholic Mutual Insurance Company and others in hush money, buying victims' silence. They fought tooth and nail to deny them justice by lobbying against so-called look-back laws that extend the time for filing a civil suit. Then, in order to shut down the cases that emerged from the thousands that were being passed by the states, those look-back laws, they started filing for bankruptcy, approaching 36 dioceses now and counting. And it wasn't because they had no money. It was to kill the lawsuits dead in their tracks and prevent any further discovery by attorneys in those cases. The bishops, it seems, weren't able to shred every document that exposed their rot. Here in Detroit, Alan Vigneron, with the help of his attorneys at Bodman Law, just started a whole new company called Mooney Real Estate Holdings and took every single asset the Archdiocese of Detroit had and shifted them all into that phony shell company so victims could not get to those assets. Church Militant broke that story, and Vigneron sent out his lying communications director, Ned McGrath, to spin it as, well, the Vatican said dioceses should do this. Yeah, 107 years earlier they said to do that. The seminaries are gay, the chanceries are gay-friendly, the bishops are gay and gay-friendly because they're all the product of the sexual revolution from when they were in seminary back in the 60s and 70s. Couldn't get accepted into seminary if you weren't, couldn't get ordained if you weren't, and certainly could not get your mitre unless you were, or at the very least, just shut up about it. We need about 10 or so more years, hopefully fewer, for all of these gay bishops to die or leave office, and then hope and pray that whatever's left of the church, if anything will be here in the United States, is able to reconstitute and essentially start from scratch. They will deserve no honors in death, only prayers. These men destroyed the church during their tenures, robbed tens of millions of their faith, and still strut around like unattractive prom queens. They set the stage for generations of seminarians, even down to today, to be malformed in the faith. And if you still don't want to believe Church Militant, then read what amounts to the memoirs of a dead pope. God rest his soul. There are 4 books, but only one really matters. God love you. I'm Michael Voris.